What can I do to start integrating my own shadow? I feel the darkness, but end up bottling it up. How can I start being more assertive in a controlled manner?
That's exactly how. You can start by being more assertive in a controlled manner. Well, this is a good follow-up question from the last one. What are you mad about? Write it down. And like, be kind of comprehensive about it. Or maybe talk to a friend. I would say write it down, but you can talk to a friend. Write down everything that makes you angry. And you're going to think, well, some of those things that make me angry are stupid. It's like, yeah, probably. That's not the question here. We're not trying to figure out if you're reasonable or not. Of course you're not, because who is? So you're not. So write down everything that makes you angry. Okay, so what'll happen then is you have a comprehensive list of what makes you angry, and the first thing that you'll figure out is that some of those things just shouldn't make you angry. It's like time to grow the hell up, you know, and get over that. But then there's other things on there, and maybe you can talk to someone about that. You think, well, this makes me angry. Should it? You talk to someone, they say, no, you should, that's you. You should just grow up. But, you know, so maybe that's 10% of the things that make you angry is just because you're undisciplined. But then there'll be some other things that make you angry because you're being taken advantage of, or you're allowing yourself to be taken advantage of, or you're taking advantage of yourself, or you're not objecting when someone else is asking you to do something you don't really want. Like, there's something going on. And so with those things, you figure out, well, what would you rather have? Like, if you could have what you wanted that wasn't making you angry, what would it be? And so now you know what you want. Well, then you think, well, let's take one of those things that I want and see if I can ask for it. Maybe it's like the person who asked this question, the woman who asked this previous question. Maybe she has to go to her husband and say, look, I need you to spend 15 minutes after dinner with the kids so I can, you know, be alone. Would you do it for 15 minutes? Or 10 minutes, or would you do it for 10 minutes like 3 times a week? You know, you have to negotiate. What's the other person willing to do? You need to know what you want and need, and then you need to communicate it to them, and then you need to negotiate a solution. And that's how you get more assertive. And you start small. You get more assertive by telling the truth, right? That's how. It's like, I'm irritated and annoyed that this isn't happening, and here's something that you could conceivably offer me, and this is what I'm willing to do in return, and could we see if that works? And what's the benefit to them is, well, you're not miserable and passive-aggressive then, you know? It's like, it's not like your partner isn't going to gain from your increment in assertiveness. It's not a zero-sum game. You could both gain, like, truly, because wouldn't it be a lovely marriage if your wife could ask you what she wanted and you could deliver, and you could ask her what you wanted and she'd deliver, and both of you were happy about that? Like, that could happen. Not always and in every situation, but you can get a long way down that road if you're careful, you know? So tell the truth about what you're angry about, but also tell the truth to yourself about what you want. And then start with little negotiations in that direction, and you'll get better and better at it. It's really worth doing, because otherwise you carry around all that resentment. And that's horrible. That's no way to live. It makes you sick, and makes everyone around you sick, and it makes you old, and makes life miserable. And so that's another thing to think through, because you think, well, I'm afraid to say what I want. It's like, fair enough. Who isn't? How afraid are you of not saying what you want? Well, I'm used to that. Well, that doesn't mean it isn't horrible. You're just not accounting that as a risk. And you should. There is the risk of saying what you need, but there's the risk of not saying what you need. And if you have to pick between those two risks, man, pick saying. So then at least you have a chance, and so does your partner. So, you know, lots of marriages, you see this with people. The one person is deeply unhappy and angry, and the other person really has no idea why. Now, they may have, you know, done what they could to remain blind to the problem. But often, they just don't, the other person just has never told them, you know, here's what's wrong and here's what I want. They expect them to know or something, and people just don't. They're just not that bright, you know. It's like, you'd know if you loved me. You'd know what I needed if you loved me. I bet, how many of you have said that? It's like, you should have your lips sewn together if you say that. Like, Because the right response to that is, no, I'm stupid. You have no idea. I'm so stupid I married you. And so, how much do you think you can expect from me? I can barely do what you tell me to do, much less guess what it's supposed to be. So, like, give me a break and tell me what I can do badly that might be vaguely pleasing to you. That's a good approach. You know, if I've approached Tammy and I say, look, I'm really stupid and I mean it, and I'm amazed you put up with me, and because I sure can't figure out why you would, and if you tell me what you want in some way that I can manage it, and you let me try it out stupidly and badly for a while, I might be willing to give it a shot. What do you think? And usually she'll tell me something I can do, and vice versa. And usually it works, if we allow ourselves also that opportunity to practice it stupidly for a while. You know, because maybe you want your partner to say they love you, you know, now and then, whenever that is. And so then you think, okay, how often? How often? Every day? Well, that'll get a little old. Well, once a week. Okay, once a week. How about Monday? I know you think that's funny, you know, but maybe if you got it right, someone would tell you they loved you once a week for the rest of your life. And mean it. And maybe that would be better than not having it at all. So you think, well, Monday when you come home from work, well, that's a bit formulaic. It's like, yeah, well, and how about some flowers along with it? It's like, well, then how about once every 2 weeks? Okay, deal. And you think, well, that's kind of, like I said, it's formulaic, it's not spontaneous, it's sort of rote. Here's some flowers, I love you. It's
Thank you.
Well, could you be right, that's right, man. I had this friend, he bought his wife flowers. It took him 3 days to convince her that he bought them. That's not the right response. I got some flowers for you. No, you didn't. You never bring me flowers, and you never will. Well, those are flowers. You didn't buy them. It's like, no. Tammy got it right. She said, thank you. It's like, that's right. If someone does something good, stupidly, and badly, then you say thank you. Because maybe they'll do it again. And maybe if they do it 20 times and you keep saying thank you carefully, they'll get confident at it, and then they'll get good at it. And then that might take like a year. And then you've got 40 years where it's happening and they're expert at it. And like, more power to you. So, yeah. That's a good place to stop.
Without that,
Thank you.
say. You've done good.
Thank you, everyone. Much appreciated. Good night.
You should be acting well. You should climb off your throne and see